Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day and that you're looking after yourselves and one another. I want to welcome you back to part two of my Ranking the Album series on Kiss. Um, as I said in the previous episode in part one, Kiss have 20 albums in their catalog to rank. So I thought to make it easier and more palatable for people to watch, I wanted to separate the segments into four segments, five albums each per segment. So that way it'd be easier for you to watch, digest, and give your opinions. I failed to mention this in part one, but I will not be ranking the solo albums that came out on September 18th, 1978. I did a separate video for those albums. People did watch that video, and I thank everybody who did watch the video that tuned in to watch it, and it got pretty good numbers. So I'm going to put a link in the description below to that video so you can go back and watch that if you haven't seen it yet. So again, I want to welcome you to part two of ranking the albums of Kiss. So in this video, I'm going to be covering numbers 15 to 11. Okay. So starting out at number 11, number 15. It's been one of those days. Number 15 is Dynasty. Released May 23rd, 1979. This, oh my God, this was, there was a 2 year gap between Love Gun and the release of Dynasty because of the solo albums that were released in September of 78. This marked a big turning point for the band, and some people would say in a bad way, some people would say in a good way. I would say pretty much in a bad way. They went the pop route, guys. The album was produced by Vinnie Poncia, the first one to be produced by Vinnie Poncia, who, as I said previously, had worked with Peter Criss on his solo album. Vinnie Poncia has worked with other artists such as Melissa Manchester, most notably. This album is noted for the track "I Was Made for Loving You," Paul Stanley composition. Um, when I first heard "I Was Made for Loving You," I could not understand what the hell was going on. Even at the age of 9, when I heard this track, just shy of turning 9, I realized that this was completely different. And Paul Stanley said he wrote this song within 20 minutes of being in a disco and hearing the songs that were coming out, the music that was coming out of the speakers, thinking that it was going to be easier for him or the band to get a hit with a song of this format than anything they had written before. So he went home and started working on chords and came up with "I Was Made for Loving You." And when you listen to the lyrics of the first verse, "Tonight I'm going to give it all to you in the darkness. There's so much I want to do." It's very simple lyric format in terms of the track. Big hit for the band. People were shaking the groove thing to Kiss at this point. Other songs of note are the Mick Jagger Keith Richards cover of 2000 Man by Ace Frehley. I think the best version of this song live is the MTV Unplugged version that they did in 1995, 96, 96. The big reunion thing they did for MTV. Other songs of note is the other single, Sure Know Something, which is very R&B flavored, heavy bass on the track. Other songs of note are Charisma. Okay. But in terms of where they were going as a band, they didn't realize it until it was too late that they had become a pop band. Okay. Um, but once they got on that roller coaster, it was hard for them to get off the roller coaster. So that's number 15. Coming in at number 14 is Hot in the Shade. released October 17th, 1989. I gotta say, with regards to Eric Carr on drums, he was a monster of a drummer. Just amazing. Heavy handed on the snare, heavy foot on the kick drum, just balls out heavy drummer. Gene Simmons has said that Eric Carr's playing buried Peter Criss's playing. Peter Criss comes from more of a swing type of big band kind of feel in terms of his playing. Eric Carr was more of a balls out rock drummer, and according to Gene Simmons, he pushed Kiss to be a heavier band. Eric Carr did. So, songs of note on the album are the singles Hide Your Heart, which is quite good, quite heavy. The ballad Forever, the power ballad Forever, co-written by Michael Bolton. Yes, that Michael Bolton. I should backtrack. Hide Your Heart was co-written by Holly Knight, who had co-written the song Better Be Good to Me for Tina Turner for her Private Dancer album. Michael Bolton, when he heard the song and he heard that he was credited as a songwriter, called the Kiss offices to get a copy of the lyrics because he didn't remember helping Paul Stanley write this song. There's a fantastic acoustic guitar solo from Bruce Kulick on the track. Just amazing. Other songs of note are the third single, Rise to It. I do like that song. It's heavy, it's melodic, it's catchy, it kicks ass, you know. Other songs of note are Little Caesar on the album. The album has 15 tracks, long album, just over like 50 minutes, 56 minutes, something like that. One of the longest albums that they did up to that point. People say it's pretty much a hodgepodge of musical styles, but I do like those songs. Um, but people were saying at that point that they were still kind of floundering, not knowing what they were doing. You know what? It did sell. It did sell. Coming in at number 13 is Love Gun. I'm going to get blasted for this probably. Released on June 30th, 1977. You know, the iconic cover art, with the four of them standing there, with Gene Simmons with his, roaring, being the demon, all that, and having the women fawn all over them, featuring the title track that Paul Stanley had said that he came up with the idea for the song on his head. And while he was coming in from a flight, went right to the studio and started recording everything in his head that he heard and what he wanted to put down. Other songs on it are Christine 16, I Stole Your Love, fantastic um, track, heavy track. And it would open the 1977 concerts for the band. Just amazing. Another song of note on the album is Shock Me. Um, the one of the, track written by Ace Frehley. Again, I've never been a fan of Ace Frehley's vocals, but you know what? He is a good guitarist, but just in terms of his vocal ability, I've never thought he was a good vocalist in the band. But he wrote some fantastic stuff for the band. That's number 13. Coming in at number 12 is Asylum. Released September 16th, 1985. This again was during the band and their glam metal phase. At this point, they had the stylist who worked with Van Halen working with them, and they were wearing a lot of pastels and like handkerchiefs and scarves and Gene Simmons looked like said he would look like he was wearing mommy dearest kind of clothing when during this time frame. I won't say what else he said, but he did say quite a bit. On this album are the songs Tears Are Falling, Who Wants to Be Lonely, All Night, that which is, I believe, the last track on the album. Heavy drumming, heavy guitars, amazing. Just really like balls to the wall in terms of the drum sound. Eric Carr's drum sound on these albums to me sounds massive. Heavy snare, heavy bass drum, just brutal, brutal. Um, I do like Tears Are Falling. I do like Tears Are Falling. Were the band kind of going with the flow at this point? I would have to say yeah. I don't know why they didn't need to follow trends. They could have their own trend. They could do their own thing, but they tended to me to be a little bit again following the path of other artists. I don't understand it, but that's just my opinion. Coming in at number 11 is Creatures of the Night, released October 25th, 1982. This saw the band go into more of a heavier direction. The initial plan was to not release the album that became The Elder, the concept album. The original idea was to have the band after Unmasked to do a more balls to the wall rock album, get back to what they were known for in the 70s, like Harder Than Hell. Instead, they did music from The Elder. Creatures of the Night, even though it had the hits, it really didn't hit as it should have. But heavy album nonetheless. Uh, Ace Frehley, at this point in the band, in the band's history, wanted out. Even though Paul Stanley drove up to his place in Connecticut and spent a day with him and said, please don't leave the band. You can have a solo album career. You can do whatever you want. We don't want anything from you, from your solo career. Please stay in the band. Please, we want you in the band. And he basically said to Paul Stanley that if he didn't leave the band at that point, he was going to uh, die because he needed to get out. He was not happy anymore. And he had other issues going on. Heavy album, the title track, Creatures of the Night, which features a guitar solo by Steve Ferris of Mr. fame. Brutal song. I like that song better than I Love It Loud. And I'm gonna get jitters in the comments, but I love this song more than I Love It Loud. I always love this song. Just the arrangement, the heaviness of the drums, the guitars, just brilliant. It's just amazing. I get other songs I know. Killer, the lead off single, I Love It Loud. War Machine, which was co-written by young Brian Adams and Jim Valance with Gene Simmons. Amazing, amazing album. There is the infamous 40th anniversary box set of Creatures of the Night that came out. I am still yet to buy it. Am I going to pay $200 or $300 for a box set right at this point? No, not even for Kiss. But yeah, no, Creatures of the Night, the iconic album cover with the four of them with the glowing eyes, even though Ace Frehley is not on the album, they wanted him to appear on the album cover to make it look like that he was still in the band. There are some versions of the album cover with Vinnie Vincent in the Ankh Warrior getup, the makeup with him on the front cover. I don't know why, but I mean, he did contribute some guitar work as a session player on the album, but it's still it's a good album. It is a good album. So that's it, guys. Part two of my ranking the albums of Kiss series, numbers 15 to 11. Please, in the comments below, down there, please put your ranking for this part of the ranking list. And again, there are no right or wrong answers, just opinion. So please let me know what your numbers are from 15 to 11, or any number ranking you want to do, like top three from this area, top two, top five, doesn't matter. All right, so no right or wrong answers again. So please click like and subscribe, and click the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that I've got coming up. I am going to be back soon with part three of the series. And please look after yourselves and one another. I am Armando Venditti signing off, and I will see you soon.